Rules for Old Men Waiting, 2005, is a novel by British author Peter R. Pouncey that follows 80-year-old historian Robert MacIver as he awaits death in the home where he cared for his recently deceased wife, Margaret. To occupy his time, MacIver writes a short story set in the trenches of the First World War while reflecting on his life. The novel received positive acclaim, with Publishers Weekly describing it as unpretentious, lyrical, and deeply moving. And many reviewers praised it as an impressive debut from a writer who began his career at 68. Pouncey, a British classicist who concluded his career as the president of Amherst College in Massachusetts, dedicated over 20 years to crafting rules for old men waiting. The story begins in a house older than the Republic, where the aging Scotsman, Robert MacIver, resides. The house, now failing like its occupant, is described as large-framed and isolated in the woods of Cape Cod. MacIver and Margaret chose this place so she could spend her final days in a beloved setting. Margaret, a gentle painter, named the house Night Heron House in honor of a bird that often visited the grounds. After losing Margaret, MacIver feels no desire to continue living and succumbs to decline for months, especially since he is terminally ill. However, after the porch collapses, he resolves to bring order to his last days to honor his late wife, stating, "I must retrench." He begins to stockpile provisions for his end, even burning books for fire, starting with those of rival scholars and other trash before moving on to better works, including his own. To maintain some semblance of order, he compiles a list of rules to govern his conduct. Initially simple, his rules include keep personally clean, make the bed, tidy the house, eat regularly, and play music. Yet, as random images invade his mind, he feels increasingly deranged. Thus, he establishes rule number 7, work every morning. A retired historian known for interviewing survivors of poison gas attacks in the trenches, MacIver is well suited to write a short story set in the no-man's land between the trenches, drawing on his own experiences. His father was killed in the First World War, and MacIver served in the Navy during the Second World War. Each morning, MacIver puts on 2 pairs of socks and the rugby cap he earned while playing for Scotland, settling down to write. The remainder of the novel intertwines his current life with memories from his past. We learn about his father's death and the lasting shadow of rage it cast over MacIver's soul. We relive the triumphant rugby match in which his Scottish team defeated their old rival, England. We also gain insight into MacIver's challenging demeanor as a teacher and colleague in academia, which reflects his complex relationship with his own history. A former student recalls MacIver's insistence that a historian must passionately engage with the lives of those they study, emphasizing the importance of understanding the subtle variances that drive historical change and the choices individuals make, even when they come from the same background as everyone else. The student notes, he was a notoriously passionate man himself, and I think quite a few of his colleagues disapproved of him or were afraid of him. At the heart of MacIver's life story is his meeting with Margaret, an accomplished painter, and their blissful courtship. Their happiness grows with the birth of their only son, David, and MacIver's lifelong rage begins to settle. However, after college, David volunteers as a medical officer in Vietnam. He is injured in the leg and flown home, only to succumb to his injuries. MacIver's anger resurfaces, so intense that it threatens his marriage. Yet once again, it is Margaret's patience and gentleness that pull him back from the brink. Simultaneously, MacIver's narrative is mirrored in the experiences of 4 soldiers in the trenches. Private Tim Callum, a talented artist, spends his downtime drawing, but he becomes the target of relentless bullying from Sergeant Reggie Braddis, a skilled yet psychopathic soldier. Their commanding officer, Lieutenant Simon Dodds, defends Callum, recognizing his talent. However, when Braddis kills Dodds, Callum is consumed by a murderous rage and takes revenge by killing Braddis. By the time MacIver completes his story, he feels prepared to face his own death. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.